Show the West Tigers your support from West Ashfield this Friday, 24 March from 6 p.m. when they go head-to-head against the Melbourne Storm from Amy Park in Melbourne. You can try the Garden's new bistro with mouth-watering game day favourites while you catch all the action live from their large screens. It's bigger and better. Visit holmanbarnesgroup.com.au for more information. Holman Barnes Group, bringing people together. And welcome in to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Barnett. We are sponsored by Holman Barnes Group, which includes West Ashfield Leagues, the best place to watch the game live and loud this Friday evening. I guess you could knock off work and head over to West Ashfield Leagues for that first beer and get ready for the game against the Melbourne Storm. Who knows? It might be our first win. We might get a bit of luck and get a win down in Melbourne. But if you're going to lose, I guess be around other West Tigers fans. Watch it on the big screen at West Ashfield, at WestsLife Pod on all our socials, Instagram and Twitter. If you want to support and take part in the show, patreon.com/WestsLife. We'll get to the guys and girls' questions later in the show. And give us a subscribe. Shouts to plenty of people coming in on the YouTube. Now, bit of homework for everyone, guys. If you give us this week, if you could share an episode, if you have a friend that goes for the West Tigers and might not have heard of us, hit the share button or whatever you're listening on, be it YouTube on the video or audio, Spotify, Apple, or whatever. Share it with a friend and say, hey, do you hate the West Tigers? These guys hate the West Tigers as much as we do. And, give it a crack. So that... So shouts to the thousands of you already tuning in each and every week, and we truly appreciate this team. I swear to God, just watching the game on Sunday, just questioning why do we do this to ourselves, and the fact that, like I said, literally thousands of you, tune in and listen to what we have to say about this and relive the shittiest part of what's becoming the shittiest part of our week. So we truly love yous all, as once said by the great Jeff Fennick. Speaking of men who like to get in the ring, Rob Bashara, how are you on this Monday evening?
I'm here. I'm here. It's been a rough day, nothing to do with footy, but I'm here. I sort of tossed and turned whether to even show up tonight, but didn't want to let you guys down, and might be entertaining that I'm in a really shitty mood and ready to go again on the WestsLife post-mortem.
The post-mortem, and as coming in from Orange, New South Wales, how are you on this Monday evening? What is it? What are we, 26 and a half hours since full time yesterday?
I was really disappointed at the end of the game. I've had another one of those days where I'm just trying to process it, realize it's happened, it's done. But I allowed myself to get my hopes up towards the end of that game and ended up feeling very, very, very shattered afterwards. So I'm hanging in there. I've had an interesting afternoon at work today and ready to go for tonight.
Yeah, I tweeted out on the WestsLife account yesterday. I said, "Oh no, they've given us hope. Like they actually, for 9 minutes, we were in with a chance. Like it was just crazy. Like I'd actually gone to the stage in that game where it's like, you know how when you're so far behind, you kind of get to the stage where you're like, well, we're not in it. You kind of start just preparing yourself. Say we've lost it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that they got back in the game and then lost, it's like torture. Like, not saying I didn't appreciate the effort by the boys storming home late, but we'll get into it at all. But it's just frustrating, and it gives us hope a little bit. Like if we had lost by 3-4 tries going into this week, I think even there's that little spark in us. Like I said in the intro, maybe we can go to Melbourne and beat a Melbourne team that is pretty depleted at the moment. Who knows? So they've given us that tiny little bit of hope, and I feel like they did that in the first two games as well. But we'll start with the news. So only little bit of news I could see in the media today, apart from pretty much the media just hammering us. Bateman basically came out. Michael Chamis, our mate from SMH, did a story about Bateman, and he said he was just put to bed the injury talk why he didn't play in the first 2 rounds. He said it purely was just kind of acclimatizing. The acclimatizing thing sounds like it was a bit of a throwaway line. I think people kind of ran with that. He was just kind of getting used to playing with the team. So, Rob, how much do you buy into this? I mean, he had a pretty good impact on the team straight away, first game. Do you think they should have just thrown him in round? I mean, it's all easy in hindsight, but do you think they should have just thrown him in rounds 1 and 2 if he was fit, ready to go?
If he was fit and ready to go, Josh, yeah, they should have. But I mean, I think it was pretty clear he had an ankle injury. Even Channel 9 showed him working on that ankle injury in the dressing room. As I've said to you a dozen times now, the listeners will be sick of it. Our first 2 games of the season, I know Sheen said he's here for 3 or 4 years. Well, send him back to England and bring him back next year because we're not making the finals. Really loved what he did yesterday. I know he had a few errors, but honestly, I just kind of chuckled watching the game. That little grubber kick that he put for himself, which unfortunately he should have finished off, but he didn't. That little grubber kick he put for himself showed more ingenuity in one play than Luke Brooks has in 2 years. So I was just thought, like, why can a bloke from England who's a second rower do that, and a guy who's twice as fast can't even think to do something like that? So, yeah, look, I think he's going to be really good for us. He held up his own end. People are going to talk about the 4 errors that he made, but wow, he's special. He's actually a really, really good player. So, yeah, I mean, that's one thing we can get excited about. I think it was a good performance. I'm not sure how everyone else feels, but we'll get to the votes later with the survey.
I think it was on the Discord yesterday, as you said. Imagine that being your first try in your new club to do that would have been pretty special.
Your face.
Yeah, it's a shame because you can ground it with your torso. So I thought that was the only hope. As soon as it happened, I'm like, oh, please, possibly a torso grounding here. It kicked up okay for him. He did so well. It feels like a bit of a metaphor, or is a metaphor the right word? Basically, that play where we've done so many things where we just don't finish. Like, we've done so many good things, but just not that last 1% to score points. And that like double grubber perfect, and then bottles at the end. Like already in 3 games, there's just so many times where I feel like, okay, we're going to ride here, and then there's just the last second, we just stuff it up. Is that how you feel as well, Rob? Does that make sense?
It seems to happen a fair bit. Like we saw it. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, obviously with Bateman, that was his fault. That's just bad luck. We saw it the week before with Alex Twal. He was over the line. It was punched out. I think by Frizzell. It just those things seem to happen all the time.
Tommy Talau as well.
Tommy Talau. What's mind-boggling with the Bateman thing, Josh, is before we played the Knights, Tim Sheen said Bateman's going to play against Melbourne. Okay, and the reason he played yesterday was because Papali'i was suspended, and obviously he was getting to the point where we are desperate. Suddenly the blowtorch is on Sheen's a little bit. But if you're fair dinkum about acclimatising a bloke, you don't fucking play him in 35-degree heat. Like his first game was better off in round 1 at 6 p.m. at Leichhardt on a cool afternoon, or a 4 p.m. game. So we were desperate. We threw him in, but I don't think he would have even played if Papali'i was available, which just shows you there's just no desperation within the club for getting wins and getting success. And we saw yesterday, we'll get onto it later, obviously, but, Wakeman not coming on till the 51st minute. Like, what are you waiting for? You want to let it get to 42-6? Like, there's no go button. There's no balls. There's no someone saying, come on, we got to do something different. Like, anyway, but yeah, with Bateman, we're lucky that he even played yesterday. So hopefully he'll be better for the run, and he'll smash it against the Melbourne team, who hopefully will be missing both their star halves.
So yeah, getting straight into the game, we pretty much have already, but 26-22, in case you missed it yesterday at Belmore on a scorching Sunday afternoon. I think the 3 of us didn't go to this game, but I can only imagine. Let us know in the comments if you're at this game. It was sold out too. I actually looked on the Saturday for tickets because I'm in the RN about it. It was actually officially sold out. Couldn't buy tickets. I was watching the stream of the Magpies game. I could see people on the hill were literally sitting in the shadow of the light poles. Like literally the lines of people were sitting on the shadows of the light pole. No one wanted to sit in the sun. It was just so hot. So credit to any West Tigers fans. The fact that we could lose 2 games in a row and you go sit in that heat at Belmore, credit to you. It was hot conditions. And we wore black jerseys. Like, I know Magpie old fanboys will get angry if we wore orange 3 weeks in a row. But man, I would have been happy for us. That's days like that. We need a white jersey. A white jersey would have been. I mean, Bulldogs were wearing a white jersey, so they probably couldn't have. But man, like as surely, I know it's kind of pre-approved. The New South Wales Cup game was just white on white. Did you guys see the Magpies Dogs? It was blue V on white versus black V on white. So, maybe not go a full white jersey, but man, it must have been hot for the boys in black.
Yeah, definitely. It's strange. Like this March has been probably one of the hotter marches in recent memory. Most years we probably haven't even needed white jerseys, but this one, yeah, I don't know. The orange/gold jersey might have been a bit of a better choice because I'm sure in hot conditions the NRL would approve something like that. I'm surprised we didn't do a multicultural jersey like we did last year or the year before, whenever it was. Some clubs do that or have taken that up now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much the jersey might have contributed to, like the.
I'm not blaming everything on the jersey. I'm not blaming.
Yeah. No, I know.
Jason said it's bloody gold. It's not orange. It's actually orange now. Gold. Balmain was gold. It's technically, if our jerseys aren't orange, then what is? They're full on orange now. Getting into semantics with colours again.
No, but Josh, you make a good point about the heat. Obviously, with the black, I think it should have been orange if Canterbury are wearing white. But was it last week, guys, or the week before? I'm not sure because obviously we went to both games. But I'm pretty sure we wore white shorts and Newcastle wore white shorts, and that really astounded me. I just think it's stupid when both teams wear the same colour shorts or same colour socks. You've got to have different gear on. Sometimes you might catch a support player, from the corner of your eye or something like that. So why we had white shorts on last week when I think Newcastle had white shorts is just so stupid. It really is. Like, we've got a dark jersey on anyway. Put the dark shorts on. We're playing at 4:00 in the afternoon. It's not going to hurt. Yet this time we had black shorts and they're wearing blue shorts. Like, anyway, that's like you said. It's semantics, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm not blaming the performance on the black jerseys, but it's just. I mean, if it makes it 4% worse, like it's still 4% worse. Like, yeah, Anyway, so tries for us for Brent Naden, Luke Brooks, Fanil Pole, and Charlie Stain. So 66, 69, and 70th minute. Those 3 tries getting us back in the game. As like when Burton scored that try, I already felt like there was no way we were going to score enough points to get us back in that game. That Burton try ended up being the game winner, and it was just such a soft one to let through.
Yeah, exactly. When Burton scored that, or at the point where Burton scored that, I thought we were still in a position where we could come back. Obviously, we were 14 points behind, so we would have needed 3 tries, but we got 3 tries. I just said to myself, watching that it's going to be what costs us, because that was probably the worst defense of the game, letting Burton through there. Most of their other tries came off either kick chase or like kick returns or intercepts and things of that nature, where it's not really on the players. And then that first try they scored was just a really, really bad defensive lapse on the line where we just let them go straight through the middle there. And yeah, I really was disappointed when the Dogs scored that one. because I was just like, that just puts it so much further out of reach now, because now we're 20 points behind. We're going to need 4 tries, most likely, because converting is not our forte, and it ended up being just a little bit too far of a bridge to travel.
Rob, the 6 minutes of brilliance, was that an anomaly or something to be hopeful of moving forward?
Oh, look, it was. I tweeted something that a mate of mine texted me last night. I thought it was quite funny. He said, we were in the desert, and then we saw a mirage, and then we went back to a desert. So it's like we had 4 minutes of just, like where the fuck has this been? And then, look, let's be fair. It was 36-degree heat. If you'd watched how Canterbury played after the Burton try, they'd shut up shop. The game was just going nowhere, and I think they kind of fell asleep. You look at the tries, there's really not too much there, and just a bit of lazy defence. So the disappointing part is when you see Canterbury kick off again, there's 9 minutes and 1 second left. Like, we honestly had enough time to hit the lead and lose the game. There was that much time left, and it was just really some of the options we took in that last 9 minutes were just. Head scratches. We had a couple of huge errors as well that really hurt us. And I just, when I compare yesterday to the week before, I feel like yesterday we tried to simplify it. We weren't doing that rubbish side-to-side shit. We tried to simplify it. We tried to play straight up. We tried to keep it simpler. But in all honesty, Josh, I think it was the worst performance of the 3. It was one of the most inept performances. Individually, we had a few moments. In terms of cohesiveness, if you told me we were going to be worse than Newcastle, I just would have laughed at you. But it was absolute fucking rubbish. That was an absolute disgrace what I saw yesterday. Some players had the worst games of their career. And there were 4 or 5 guys that did a lot of really good things as well. But just as a team, we just lacked confidence. We looked disorganised. I'm not making Wakeham out to be, the next immortal. But when he came on, obviously it sparked things. We looked a bit more cohesive. Why he wasn't there from the start of the game has cost us probably 2 points. And I think, as someone who really doesn't want Brooks there anymore, the worst part of Wakeham coming on in the 51st minute is I reckon we were 29 minutes away from seeing the last time of Luke Brooks in first grade. And literally Wakeham coming on has given Luke Brooks a lifeline, because suddenly he looked okay. But, all he did was back up a try and do a show and go and go through. Like, I can get you 10 blokes at Oztag at Homebush that look that good, in heat when people are all tired. So, look, the boys never stopped trying. I'll give them that much. But the game was there to be won, and we fucking lost, and we should have won. Like, we weren't the better team, but, how many times are we the better team when we lose? So, we needed to turn that around. We've lost now to the 13th, 14th and 12th placed teams of last year. So 3 of the 4 teams that were just above us. New Zealand came 15th. They're the only team we haven't played yet. We might beat Melbourne, but if we beat Melbourne without Munster and Hughes, like, is that like a big, whoopee-doo? Like,
I don't care.
It's literally the draw could not have panned out more perfectly.
Yeah.
And we screwed it up. And I've told you before, we've got a coaching staff that keep telling players, back yourself, go for it, do this and do that. Why didn't Wakeham start? And I literally said on last Monday night's podcast, and like I said, not everything I say is right, but I said on last Monday night's podcast, we're only 2 games in, but we can't make the finals. The season's over unless we get rid of Brooks and start Wakeham. That's literally what I said, start Wakeham. Now, we obviously knew we needed Wakeham because he was there on the bench. You put him on when the game was basically over. He came on at 20-6 before that Burton try, and so got to 26-6 after that. And then Wakeham started looking Benji-esque. But now the problem's going to be that Wakeham will start this week, whether it's number 6 or number 7 on his back, it doesn't matter. But everyone's going to expect Brandon Wakeham now to be Benji Marshall, and Luke Brooks just sort of ran off whatever Wakeham was doing. So I don't know. I don't know where we go from here, Josh. We've got fullback problems. I think all the 3 candidates that can play fullbacks, as I said on the Discord today, they've got strengths and they've got weaknesses. We need a gun fullback. We need a gun halfback. But for now, I'd be running with Wakeham because Wakeham and Dewey in the Canberra trial looked sensational. Like Dewey Dewey had his best game. He was that good. He came off with 20 minutes left of the trial. And then obviously yesterday, Brooks like a busted ass. And then as soon as Wakeham came on, he looked great. And they started combining and interchanging. And like Brooks got his mojo. So what did we learn? What did we learn yesterday? I'll tell you what we learned yesterday, Josh. We learned yesterday what we learned nearly 12 months ago, that Brooks isn't a halfback and he's not a game manager and he's a 5'8". So what did we do all off season? We said he's going to be a halfback. Like, I don't know. So, yeah, you can say the players stuff up and the players do this and they're on the field. It's a fucking coach. The coach is an idiot. He's a dead set idiot, and he cost us 2 points yesterday. And he probably should have started the year the way he played the trial. Don't forget, Luke Brooks had a calf injury. We made Appy sit on the bench, put Luke Brooks on the bench, let Wakeham start the year. Too late. We're on 0 instead of 6, and we could easily be on 6. And it's easy for me to sit here and criticise because everyone knows I can't stand Sheens. Like, the best thing we did was get rid of him 12 years ago, and Fanboy brought him back. So, you know, we're stuck with him for 2 years now. So,
but Benji's got the headphones on, Rob. So,
well, if it's Benji's decision, then Benji's proven he hasn't coached a team before, has he? And that's why we're 0-3 against 3 shit teams. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat anymore. They don't like what I say anyway, and I don't care. I don't like following a team that's fucking shit. I don't like following a team that's led by guys that make the wrong decisions and that don't own up to it and don't confess to it. I spoke to a really high-ranking official today, and I didn't put any words in his mouth. I said, mate, be honest. Is it the players? Is it the coaches? What's the problem with the West Tigers? He goes, it's your administration. He goes, they're rubbish. And he goes, you'll always be rubbish while you've got those administrators there. And I actually said, thank you. That's what I've said for 2 years. So, you know, and people will say, well, you know, they don't catch the bombs and they don't drop the balls and they don't miss tackles and all that. Trust me, mate, it starts from the top, always has. And we're always going to be shit as long as we've got the same people leading the club.
I'll pull up this comment from GD Tiger because I've seen a few comments regarding saying that we're way harsher on Brooks than we are on Adam Dwayhe. GD Tiger, Rob, your bias to AD is borderline embarrassing. AD's mistakes have led directly to more tries than we have scored. He isn't a 5'8". He doesn't run when the option's there, and his passing is rubbish. Look, AD hasn't had a great season.
What's borderline embarrassing is GD Tiger sticking up for a bloke that's been shit for 10 years. And if he throws that Dally M stuff in, then it means he's got no intelligence himself. Adam Dwayhe, in a trial this year, was the best player on the field. In round 1 this year, so 15 days ago, he was our best player on the field. Yes, I am Adam Dwayhe biased. Yesterday was Adam's worst game for the club. It pains me to say that. It's literally everything he touched turned to shit. I'll admit that. But I'll tell you what, 2 weeks ago, he was a fucking star. So if you want to stick by a bloke who's fucking hopeless, GD Tiger, you do that. I'll back Adam Dwayhe 1,000 times before I back Luke fucking shit Brooks. Okay, Luke Brooks needs to fucking be dropped. I don't give a fuck how many tries he scored yesterday or backed up or looked great. He scored them when it didn't matter. The game was effectively over. So you want to back Brooks. You've had 10 years of Brooks. You've had 3 games of Dwayhe where he's been bad for 2 of them and 1 good one. And Dwayhe was outstanding outside Wakeham. So if Wakeham and Dwayhe were together, I don't think Dwayhe would have lost his confidence because he didn't train all week. He went in the captain's run. It's clear he had a bruised foot, and he played like shit. And you know, I hate that guy. I love the bloke, but I'm going to call it as it is. He had a shit game. But Brooks has a shit game fucking 20 times a year, and we haven't won a game with him at halfback for 13 games in a row, going back to 2021. So, GD Tiger, you stick with Luke Brooks. You want to stick with a loser? You stick with a loser.
Another response to that is the defense. Now, yeah, Adam Dwayhe's obviously, defensively, he's a liability, but so was Benji Marshall. Like, we used to hide Benji Marshall.
Our whole right edge was shit, Josh.
Yeah.
They scored 2 tries off kicks, length of the field. I get that, but Josh, in our red zone, how many tries did Canterbury bomb? They were just busting tackles and popping passes. We made Kyle Flanagan look good. You know, they bombed some tries in our red zone. So we could have been down by a lot more at halftime. So our whole right edge is shit. We know that. From Noffa to Toa to Adam, it's a bad defensive edge. What am I supposed to say to that? They're great defenders? They're all shit. Who's a good defender in that team? On either edge? Seriously.
And we don't want to scare anyone off from sharing their opinion as well. Obviously, everyone.
No, I don't care. You want to
Yeah.
go at me? That's fine. I'll go back at you. Like I'm supporting a bloke who's had even last year off a knee injury. He had a few good games at the back end. He set up what should have been the winning try against North Queensland. The year before, he played well. When has Brooks played well? He had 2 games back to back outside Jackson Hastings against Parramatta and South, and he looked great as a number 6, going off Jackson Hastings' coattails. Jackson Hastings straightening up the attack. Jackson Hastings digging into the line before passing. Jackson Hastings kicking the first winning field goal. Brooks finally got one from 15 or 20 out in the second game. But like, Brooks has never been a halfback. Yeah, people. Okay, I've accepted that Adam had a bad game, but Brooks does it every fucking week.
Just a few stats from the game. So completion rates as 28 of 40. What was last week? It was pretty. I think that might actually be
31 of 49, I think.
So it's actually.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
It's actually worse than last week. No, or better. It's about the same, roughly similar. Shit.
It's the first game where we haven't had it's the first game of this year where we haven't had the majority of possession, and we still managed to make 14 errors.
But the difference was this week, guys, we weren't playing hot potato, stupid football. We made 14 errors with simple football.
Yeah,
we didn't we weren't pushing the boundaries of attack, and we still made a lot of errors. So it was just all. But look, guys, it was 35-degree heat. I don't even know how they play in that heat.
yeah.
Like, someone's going to die of a freaking heart attack one day, and they go, "Oh, sorry, we didn't. Oh, we had 20-minute breaks." You had a bottle of water for a couple of minutes before you kept going.
Yeah,
they're not going back into the dressing sheds. They're not cooling down. It's oppressive conditions to be playing rugby league in, and we talk about player welfare. What a joke!
Yeah, I've played cricket in it, and playing cricket, standing in the field playing cricket, let alone I couldn't imagine playing footy in it. But I mean, they're elite athletes, but still, they're not. It's a winter sport. Like it was crazy that. They were never going to postpone it. There was too many sponsors and TV rights, and
Channel 9 would never allow it.
Yeah, they got to run into the news, I guess. But other stats. So as said, Bulldogs control possession 54-46. Runs, we had 13 more run meters. Doggies slightly more. Post contact meters about the same. Line breaks 5-4. Tackle breaks 32-31. Set distance about the same. Kick return meters, Doggies a little bit more, but average play the ball speed, we're decent whack quicker. So if you're looking at those stats, really, it's to go back on it. The errors are pretty much the separating factor here.
Yep, exactly. We've made 14, 18, and 14 errors in our first 3 games. We're averaging more than, I think it's about 15 errors a game at the moment, and you're not going to win games of footy making that much errors and giving the opposition, that much extra ball.
Rob, you talked about not throwing the ball around 11 offloads. Is that about the right number for you?
Oh, look, I don't know what the right number is or isn't, Josh, to be brutally honest. Obviously, the more second phase we have, the better it is. There's pretty hot conditions. You don't want to be pushing silly passes. Look, I was just happy we were playing to our strengths, which was our forwards. Obviously, a couple of things caught us out. Like Matt Burton caught me out because I said to our Canterbury friend last week, I'm glad Matt Burton's a 5'8" sort of ball playing and not running because he's a fantastic runner. And fuck me, he decided to fucking run yesterday. It's a bit like Mitchell Moses. Mitchell Moses doesn't run against anyone, but when he plays us, he has 2 tries and 150 metres. So
yeah,
Burton decides to carve us up yesterday, and he'd probably do nothing on the weekend but put high kicks up. So, look, I was just really disappointed with some of our choices near the line. We're still dropping off quite a few tackles. I just don't understand why we're still juggling with our team and trying to get it right. We had all off season to get it right. We've had 2 heavy losses where we should have made some changes. This is a hindsight thing, not something we predicted last week. If Adam didn't train all of last week and he only went in the captain's run and he was pretty crook, why didn't we put Adam on the bench and start Adam on the bench if he wasn't? Because he played like a bastard. He had a terrible game. So you got to start questioning Tim Sheens. I hope everyone watched the Tim Sheens press conference because Appy literally said in 2 sentences made more sense than what Sheens did in the whole press conference. It was him. He didn't want to answer about the changes. And then when he thought of an answer, he decided to answer the question a minute later. But Appy summed it up in 4 words. Wakeham straightened us up. Literally, that's all Appy said. He also said, our boys aren't used to playing on the front foot, which I thought was a pretty fair comment as well. Like when Appy, we saw a couple of times yesterday, Appy takes off. No one follows him. Or he's
so frustrating.
Turning around. And like Appy's trying his guts out. He's making a shitload of tackles. Unfortunately, with Appy, like people probably don't know this, Appy's missing a lot of tackles as well. He's actually the NRL leading missed tackle person this year with 16. But, I mean, I think when you're doing that many tackles a game and yesterday...
It's a percentage thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a percentage thing. You're going to miss some tackles. So, look, Bateman was encouraging. I thought Clemmer was amazing. Naden was probably his best game of the year. They all have their little individual moments, but when did we look good? We looked good when Wakeham came on and we started looking a little bit more cohesive, and some of those tries were, really pretty. But again, we were complaining, and like I say, nothing to do with Madge, but in the Madge era, we complained about, the boys are trying hard, they're having a go, but we keep having consolation losses. We're at the same stage, guys. Our for and against isn't too bad. It's just 3 losses out of 3. So
it's
funny we need to win against Melbourne just for some, even if they got 20 players out, we just need to beat Melbourne.
Just to go on that Appy thing, when he would literally run and have no one backing up, it reminded me of in touch football, you're not allowed to score from dummy half.
That's right.
So if you dummy half and you cross the line, you literally got to stop and look for someone to pass it to score. That's what it literally looked like. He was like playing touch footy, trying to get the ball back to someone. There was literally no one following him. And I tweeted it again during the game. The first guy to actually back him up on a run was Wakeham. That's how long it took for someone to go with him. Like it's just such a simple thing. Like I've watched rugby league and played it for years and years, but I still don't call myself a super expert. We obviously give our opinions and that sort of thing on this show, but it's just the little simple things that, like 15-year-olds, like if our SG ball team weren't doing these things, you'd be worried. There's just simple football errors, and I just don't understand why this team, like you watch the other games, I don't know if it's just, what's the opposite of rose-colored glasses? Watching other teams and just seeing the way they, like, everything's just crisp and just everything goes through their hands, the passes are in the right spot, like errors, they complete sets. It's just, and then you watch us, and it's literally like, it's like you're watching a different league. It's just watching our team play. It's baffling. And the thing is, like, our players on paper, our team on paper should be better. They're just making errors. At the same time, I don't know whether that factor, does that give me actually, in a weird sort of way, more confidence? Because the errors are so dumb and stupid that surely they're an easy fix. Like, surely they're first grade rugby league players. Say what you want about any of the blokes that run out. They are first grade players, whether they're not as good as other first grade players in the competition, but they're just, like, they can't be that bad that they make errors that literally you would tell your 15-year-old, say, hey, like, that's not how you do it. You should know you've been playing rugby league for 6-7 years now. You should know what to do by now.
Oh, Josh, it's match conditions. Like we said, we played it. Forget who the players were. We played a trial there a month ago against Canberra, and it's just a totally different style of football. Like, we played a different style. We didn't look cohesive. We've been told, Josh, that in the preseason we did a lot of catching and passing. So there's kind of no excuses for dropping simple. I mean, look, it's picking on people. Like, I know Talau didn't play yesterday, but honestly, I've kind of always thought Talau, Kapoa, there's a couple of others that escape me. They've just got hands of stone. Like, they just don't have soft hands. So there's a few blokes there that aren't great with their hands, but the rest of the guys are pretty good with their hands. But yeah, we're just dropping a lot of ball at the wrong time. And you know what? The sad part for me is if we do come good and we start our mojo and we get a bit of confidence and we start winning games, we're going to miss the finals because we just fucked up the first few weeks. And that's wrong because, we should be in the thick of it right now. We should be a minimum 2 out of 3. I think yesterday, let's be fair, we didn't deserve to win the game. But I think, in terms of territory and what have you, we were the better team the first 2 weeks at Leichhardt. And we just couldn't get the 2 points in each game.
I honestly do think they'll get it together. It's just frustrating. And there are a lot of people saying, look, it was never going to happen. Maybe we're expecting too much of it. And even speaking to people within the club at the open trial session, they're like things, people are going to expect them to kind of come out. They've got to wait for them to kind of build combinations and that sort of thing. They're not going to just hit the ground running, which I get. I guess it's just, I said it on a previous episode. It's kind of frustrating that Leichhardt, we burned 2 Leichhardt games. I actually kind of wish we started with the Melbourne Storm.
Roosters.
Get the Roosters and Storm shit out of the way and save the Leichhardt. Because now we'll probably get to the point where we're actually going okay, and then we'll play Roosters in round 2022 and they'll kick our ass, as they always do. It'll be frustrating. I'd rather should have flipped it and then try and get... I mean, you can't... You obviously can't control... It's like trying to control the weather, I guess, but... It's just frustrating that we've burnt 2 Leichhardt games, so it's just an uphill battle for the rest of the year. So hopefully, who knows? They might come out, they might beat Melbourne, they might get one over Parramatta at Easter and start to look good. But it's just frustrating. It's just years and years. It's just as I said, it's just like watching an amateur football team at the moment. And I think, as I said, it's so bad that they can't be that bad at footballers. They're better than what they're playing. As say what you like about any of the players, they should be playing better than what they are. Righto, moving on to our friends at Mobile Corp. Always catch myself off guard and forget I'm moving on. So formerly MLC Phones, who sponsored the Balmain Tigers in the mid-90s. Shouts to Stephen, who from Mobile Corp, long-time listener, passionate West Tigers fan. They can assist with anything IT related, and they were the major sponsor of Balmain Tigers in 1994. They say there's a saying in IT, there are only 2 types of companies, those who have been hacked and those who will be hacked. So what can business owners do to protect themselves from cyber attack? Mobile Corp is a family tech-run company, a tech company that supports the West Tigers and was even a jersey sponsor back in 2007. Mobile Corp is passionate about helping protect businesses from cyber threats. For an affordable cybersecurity solution, go to mobilecorp.com.au. And speaking of online, 120 people watching us live at the moment. How good. It's just, as I said at the start of the show, the fact that you guys keep coming back and watching this show, despite the misery that our team puts us through, and you want to relive it with us,
masochist.
Unbelievable. Speaking of misery, our Magpies playing in even worse conditions. I couldn't imagine what it was like playing at 1:30 in the afternoon on Sunday. I think it might have cooled down slightly by late in the first grade game, but this game would have been atrocious to play in. 44-12 to the Bulldogs, 9 tries for the Bulldogs. I was watching the stream on Facebook, and it's just... and obviously we pulled a few players out of that team. Obviously, Brandon Wakeham, the big one there. So they were depleted a little bit. The Magpies, sorry, and the Bulldogs, they're undefeated now. I think that basically determined who was on top of the table. Oh, here's the table. I can answer my own question there. So Bulldogs are on top of the table. Magpies are in 7th. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams, all on 4 points, and we're one of them. So, early days for the Maggies, and they got the Bears next week. So hopefully they'll get a win next week. The Bulldogs actually beat us 6 times, I think.
They beat us
the weekend. Every grade, yeah. Harold Matts, the Bulldogs beat Magpies 14-12 in SG Ball. The Bulldogs beat Magpies 30-16. Balmain Juniors the Harold Mats lost to the Rabbitohs 22-10, but the SG Ball Tigers, they beat the Rabbitohs 26-20. Hey, someone got a win on the weekend. Good on SG Ball Tigers. Harvey Norman, the Bulldogs beat the Tigers 20-12. Tarsha Gale, the Bulldogs beat the Tigers 38-8. That's it. I'm not going to Canterbury anytime soon. Fuck those guys. Andrew Johns Cup, we lost the semi-final against the Central Coast Roosters up at Maury Breen Oval in Wyong. Maybe the boys hit up Pizza Hut too early and weren't up for the game. But so season finished for Laurie Daly Cup and Andrew Johns Cup. Now, righto, player ratings time. Thank you to literally over 100 people submitted their numbers for this. So let's play our little game here, boys. We'll go player by player. Tell me what you rate them out of 10. Let us know in the comments as well as we go along. And I'll reveal what the average was via your votes. Righto, we'll go, as I'll let you be first off the cap. So, Charlie Staines.
I did these all. I wrote these on my phone as I was going through the survey yesterday afternoon. So Staines, I gave 7.
Roberto?
Give him a 4. I was really upset with his lack of chase. When Canterbury did score a try and Dwayhe and poor old Sean Bloor busting his ass, running back half the speed of Charlie Staines. Had Charlie Staines done the same thing, Dwayhe might have stayed out on his man or he might have stopped a try there. So look, I just think Charlie Staines proved to me yesterday that he's a winger, and I did call for him to be a fullback because he's safe under the high ball, but he's just an out-and-out.
Could you play him at fullback on defense and play Adam fullback role in attack? Is that something?
It's a tricky one, Josh, because as we see the Discord, like if we go through the 3 fullbacks, Adam's strength is his passing game, and he's pretty decent under the high ball. He's a strong runner, but he's not fast. Where Charlie Staines is as safe as a bank under the high ball. He'll push through the middle and back up as he did for the last try that we got yesterday. But he's a poor defender, and he's not a good passer of the ball. We saw him, like, how do you throw a ball over Junior Tupu's head? I mean, that's what he did with less than 10 to go in the game. And Junior Tupu's a really tall guy, so he hasn't got a good passing game. And then Dane Laurie tries his guts out. He's one of our leading meter eaters. He's got such good yardage already this year. He's always pushing through the middle. He's always trying hard, but he just lacks that little bit of penetration, and he's terrible under the high ball.
Yeah.
And, he's not a great defender. So if you could get a hybrid of some of
they're yin and yang, aren't they?
We need a fullback, guys. We need an elite fullback that's got it all, and unfortunately we don't have it. And we're starting again this week now with our spine with 4 positions. 3 of them are going to be different. So we're back to starting the season again where other teams have got their combinations right, and we're still fucking around trying to work out what's best.
David Nofaluma as
2.
Rob.
Yeah, look, I'm going to say 3. I love Noff as a person. I just think he literally now, his piece doesn't fit in our puzzle. I just think he's going to get pushed out of the club. He's not tall. He's not fast. He can break a line. He gives it his all, but he's not the prototype winger we want. So I just don't see a future with Noff now. And I kind of said pre-season he's either going to have the best season or he's going to be in Reggie's or transferred. I can see him getting transferred to another team.
I'll kind of break the script here. Rachel's not the first person to ask about this Will Kennedy rumours. Have you heard anything, Rob, about this, about the Tigers going after?
There's an article in the paper that he's our top priority, but look, he plays great for Cronulla. He's a bit of a ball hog, but geez, he can find the line. Like whenever he chimes into a Cronulla backline move, and he tends to throw the dummy and go himself, but he's been on fire. I think he scored 3 tries in the last 2 games. So, and he's the son of Bubba Kennedy, who was
I'm old enough to remember his dad playing for the Tigers.
Yeah, his dad played for the Tigers in the early to mid 90s, and was actually a bit of a try scoring machine himself. But look, I think we've got 10 sort of great fullbacks at the moment. I prefer someone better than Kennedy, but geez, Kennedy would make our side instantly if he was at our club. That wouldn't be too hard to do.
I can't remember if I said, so Charlie Staines was 6.2. That was his average, so you boys kind of
Yeah, I think nailed it.
kind of either side of that. David Nofaluma, 2.0. Yeah, Noffa, not a lot of love for Noffa in that game. Brent Naden as.
I gave him an 8. Definitely one of our best out there. He always looked dangerous when he got the ball. It was great to see him have a really solid game, and I enjoyed watching him run away with that intercept.
Rob?
Yeah, I gave him an 8. Look, in a photo finish, I will mention the other player later, but in a photo finish, I think he was our best on ground. Gave it his all, and even just the effort plays like, trying to chase down Adokar and not letting him score under the post and stuff like that. I just think he had an outstanding game.
Yeah, 7.2 for Brent Naden, so the highest of our, by far, easily our backline, our best. So, and tied second. The guy off the bench actually won. Who got the highest votes? Funny enough. Stafford Toa as
6.
Yeah, I'm in a foul mood, boys. 3.
4.7. So that's pretty much mathematically correct.
Different. Yeah.
Junior Tupou as
6.
Tupu.
Yeah, look, guys, I'm going to say 4, but I was encouraged by that effort near the left-hand sideline second half where he actually turned the ball inside to Naden, who put Wakeham through that hole. But I just felt he was gun shy. I didn't feel he looked for the ball or wanted to get involved. I want him in the team.
Yeah, you got to persist with him.
I just want him to feel like he belongs there and just get more involved in the play. And I think that's just down to a little bit of confidence. But he'll come good. By giving him 4, I'm not saying he shouldn't be there. I want him there. He's got all the attributes to be a great winger, but he's just got to believe in himself a bit more.
Yeah, talking about this game specifically. Adam Dewey/Dewey as
2. Which hurt me to do, but yeah, poor game.
Hey, even Andrew Johns had shockers every now and then. Rob?
Yeah, this will make GD Tiger happy. 1. And that's just for having the bravery to go out there and play while he was injured. Some blokes would have just said playing today. But look, it was his worst game ever, and I love him. I still think he's a winner, and he'll come good. But yeah, he's just getting a lot of poor comments, I believe, today because we've played 3 games prior to Wakeham coming on with a hooker and 2 5/8s. Like Adam has not had a halfback inside him, and I reckon Adam would look just as fantastic had Wakeham been there like he did in the trial, and I said that earlier tonight.
Luke Brooks as.
I gave Brooksy a 3.
Sorry, 2.1 was as his average. Sorry, I'm terrible at this game, and I'm not even playing it. As Luke
You're the
Brooks.
host. Yeah, Brooksy got a 3. He was getting pretty much the same as Adam, if not lower. But like Rob said, Wakeham came on and made him look a bit better. So he got an extra point because he actually looked like he was threatening and decent hole runner, decent ball runner when Wakeham came on.
Rob?
Oh, look, I'd love to give him a negative score, but I'm going to give him 5 for the 5 minutes that he played well.
4.2, so that kind of checks out there. Stefano as.
Stefano, I gave a 6 as well. I have a fair few 6s.
Yeah, I as well, Josh. I was encouraged that he didn't drop the ball as much as he had in the first 2 games, and it was bloody oppressive for all the forwards yesterday. I just don't know how they played rugby league in that heat. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, 5.3 for Steph. I think that's a bit harsh. Appy Coruscant as
8.
Yeah, I gave him an 8 as well. He's trying hard. I mean, he pushed a pass to 12 when we're in the red zone that he probably didn't need to throw. And I mean, but I just think he's over trying, and there's nothing wrong with that. Captain, he's trying to make something happen, but he's just got to find that balance between, over enthusiasm and composure. So, but he's the best player in our team, and we've got to follow his lead.
7.2 for Appy. Yeah, probably. Yeah. David Clemmer as.
I gave Clem a 6. Probably his worst game out of the 3 for us. And I commented in the Discord during the game we got that set restart in the first half, and he played the ball almost at the speed of light
Of
to
an app,
Appy, and it almost
the
made Appy
challenge, yeah.
knock on. Yeah, the one we challenged, and I was just questioning at the time, when we've just gotten a set restart, we've got a whole new set of tackles. Why would you do something that could theoretically cause us to lose basically that repeat set? And
Go
it
back to
almost
my
did, because the call was made that it was a knock on in the play of the ball, but good
as I
challenge by the captain there.
as I said earlier, if your 15-year-old player did that, you'd tell him off for it. It's just another dumb thing that first-grade footballers is inexcusable. 6.9, 69 for David Clemmer.
I take you to task there, guys. I gave him an 8, and I think he was almost the best player on the field. His second half was absolutely enormous. Clean breaks, kept bending the line. I mean, you dropped 4 points for that incident. Seriously, he was like undoubtedly our best forward. So I'll definitely take you to task there. Watch the second half again and tell me who the best player on the field was.
Yeah, 6. Okay. That wasn't my number, Rob. That was the people. So yell it.
Outstanding. He was amazing in that heat too. At his age, kept busting him and pushing him and putting him on the back foot. I thought he was fantastic.
Kepa Oa as
I gave him a 6.
Rob.
Yeah, I got
5. 5.8. That checks out. John Bateman on club debut as.
Yeah, I thought it was a really, really good debut. He did make the most errors out of anyone on the team, but he was quote unquote acclimatizing. And the funny thing about him to me was you could spot him anywhere on the field. Wherever he was, you could see him because he was so pasty and so white. It was really, really funny.
Yeah, he literally was reflecting on the camera. Like he was reflecting the sun. I said it to my wife. I go, he's like significantly whiter. And obviously, there's a lot of high melanin skin players around him, but even still, compared to the other Caucasians in the team, it's like that. Have you ever seen that meme of the girl? It says of lying in the beach and says, "No, not her, the one behind." And there's literally like there's a girl that you can barely see. That's like camouflaged in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yep.
just obviously he's English, no son, but yeah, he's white. Let's see. How much SPF 50 did he put on before that game? Rob?
Yeah, so I gave him a 7.
Oh, sorry, Az.
Yeah, 7 each.
7.1. So I was just checking the weather on Friday for Melbourne. It's a max of 21, a minimum of 12. So it's probably going to be like mid-teens in Melbourne on Friday. So
at 6 p.m. as it's starting to get dark because we're getting closer to the end of daylight savings now. So yeah, it'll probably be around
Melbourne,
the mid to low teens.
We're pretty close, not to get all nerdy on you, but we're pretty close to the March. Oh, it is the March equinox this week, tomorrow. So that means our sunlight is identical to Melbourne, I think. That's how it works. So Melbourne are closer to a pole, which means between March and September, their days are shorter than ours, but and then opposite in summer, their days are longer. So it pretty much, yeah. To your point, as you're right, it will be dark at 6 o'clock, fairly dark at 6 o'clock. But yeah, there's your science lesson for tonight, guys. Who are we up to? Fanua Pole Ace, as
I gave him a 6.
Yeah, same guys. I mean, it was good backing up for that try that Naden nearly blew. He should have given it to Tupu, but lucky Fanua Pole was there and made a try under the post as opposed to in the corner. So it worked out all good in the end.
People said 6.1, so you bang on there. My guy, Sean Bloor, as.
I didn't really see too much of Sean, but I was really impressed with how he... Yeah, I was really impressed with how he chased down Adokar and whoever else it was.
Alamoti.
Alamoti. Yeah. It was obvious that they were always going to get that pass away because Adam Dewey, I think, had gone out and then he went too far out. So he came back in, still facing our like our try line, and they got the pass away. But it was really, really good to see Sean backing up that play and trying to at least make the effort to make the tackle. I gave him a 5.
Rob?
Yeah, I gave him a 6, 5 for his performance, and 1 because he's our man crush. So I thought,
to be honest, as said, he didn't notice him. I keep an extra eye on him.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, I barely noticed him in this game. He obviously.
Yeah.
I checked the stats. If you want to know, I checked the stats. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I'm pulling them up now. He played 50 odd minutes. And if I remember correctly, he only made about 5 runs or something in that time. I'm just getting it now. He
was tackling hard. I definitely noticed him on defense. He
did a really good offload near the halfway line on the right-hand side late in the game.
Yeah.
He might have tackled before we scored. So
that's not to say I didn't notice him in a bad way either. It was just
guys, it's his third game back after over a year off. We got it. He's one we need to be a little bit patient with.
6 runs for 48 meters with 11 post contact, 23 tackles made, 3 missed, 1 one-on-one tackle, no errors.
In how many minutes, Az?
55.
Okay. Just Jason D reminded me that every day has 24 hours. Okay, hours of sunlight. Sorry, Jason. Hours of sunlight. Obviously, every day has 24 hours. Brandon Wakeham, voted our man of the match by the people in this one.
Played 29 minutes and got an 8. That's how good he was.
Rob.
Yeah, I got to say an 8. And if Brooks knew how to pass and put it on his chest instead of behind his back, I think Wakeham might have gone through and set up the winning try. He was amazing. It's crazy to give someone 8 points for a 29-minute stint, but you know, we're putting our hope on a bloke who's played reserve grade basically for 3 years, and he's making $1 million halfback look ordinary. So
yeah, there's plenty of stories.
Outstanding play. Like he literally he had a bad trial against New Zealand. He'd only been with us for a couple of weeks and has not put a foot wrong since the Canberra trial. And it's literally taken 4 weeks and 51 minutes to get him on the field. But I sincerely believe if he started the game, guys, we win. So whoever made the decision, whoever the coach is, whoever's pulling the strings, it's your fucking fault that we lost, not the players.
It's just, I mean, you talk about he's played second grade for the last few years. There's plenty of stories of late bloomers, so you never know. He might be.
Well, if we're waiting for Brooks to come good after 10 years, why can't this bloke come good?
Yeah.
You know, so maybe he's going to be the answer. Maybe he's not. But at the bottom line is, right now, he's our best option to play number 7 because we don't have a halfback. We've got Will Smith, who could probably play halfback as of round 11 if he's any good. But the way our halves are going, he might be partnering Wakeham in the halves by round 11.
Alex Twal, as
just quickly, I don't know if you can pull it up, Josh, but I'm very curious to what the lowest score that Wakeham was given.
I can look at that.
If that's something you can find quickly. Well, I'll mention. So 12, I gave a 7.
No, I've got him here because I want to. A lot of people had good comments in this poll as well too.
But you wouldn't be surprised if the number isn't that high, because can you really give someone a big score for such a small amount of time on the field? Like they might say 6 because he wasn't on the field long enough or the game was almost over. Like, I don't know what you're supposed to give someone for a 29-minute performance. Like, you look
That's why I'm so curious. Yeah.
Yeah,
how many 10s did you say, as?
No, what was the lowest?
The lowest. All right, we're going to name and shame someone. So there's a few 5s. Have I seen? Oh, there's a 4. And I think 4. Whoever gave him a 4. Righto. The person who gave him a 4, Murray F. Shouts out to Murray F, who gave Wakeham a 4. Literally everyone else.
Okay.
There's a couple of 5s.
Be interested to hear why, but
in there. What was his comment? Did he leave a comment? No, Murray didn't leave a comment. So, shouts to Murray. But I don't know. Maybe he was doing it. You got to play more to. Everyone's got their reasons. It's all fun.
Their own voting scale. Yeah. Yep. So Twally, I gave a 7. He was pretty solid. another great defensive effort. He had made a few good runs as well, a lot of good post-contact meters. He only missed one tackle again, so in 3 games, he's only missed 2 tackles, which you know you're going to get from him.
Rob?
Yeah, standard Twally game, 7.
5.9 from the people. And lastly, Joe Offengowie off the bench.
I gave Joff a 7 as well.
Yeah, I gave him a 5. I'm not seeing that. Like Joffa was the leader of the pack last year. He's barely noticeable to me. So I did have visitors while I was watching the game yesterday, but but yeah, I'm not seeing the Joffa that I saw last year that was easily our best forward.
Quality comment. Jason and YouTube. Murray was in the shitter for those 15 minutes that Wakeham played.
Love it.
that is brilliant.
Oh, that's gold.
That's incredible.
I don't want to change from I know this is we're going from a laugh to asking you to rate our coach out of 10, Rob. Yeah, as you go first, Tim Sheens' performance in this game out of 10.
Considering the changes that he should have made, potentially should have made them early, but obviously that's something to look at in hindsight. I gave him a 3.
I think I can. You're $1.10 to give him a duck egg here, Rob.
Yeah, I think you've gone overs, mate. Yeah, definitely a duck egg. I don't like him.
4.1. 4.1.
Because he costs 2 points. If he's the coach, I think he's a media liaison officer. But if he's the coach, okay, he screwed the game up by not starting Wakeham. Okay, the right thing to do would have been to put Wakeham on, and if it's not working, take him off. Not the other way around. Bring him on when we're down by 14. Also, I thought as I said earlier, his post press match conference was just absolutely awful. I mean, if Coruscant and Sheens could have been sitting any further apart, you know, they would have. And as I said, Coruscant kind of, in 4 words, basically had a go at Sheens by saying Wakeham straightened us up. Like, you could tell Coruscant was happy to have Wakeham there. Like, where the hell has he been? But, you know, some of the things he said, like, I was happy with the chase on those tries, yet clearly Charlie Staines was in a jog trot. I just thought that was pretty poor. I thought the fact that he didn't want to talk about the changes, I don't know why he didn't want to talk about the changes. Guys, we're stuck with him for 2 years. I'm just not a fan of him. So, yeah, I don't take my opinion on him because I'm totally biased against him. Can't stand the bloke.
I thought I'd just read out. So people can leave, when you do the poll, you can leave a comment. The last couple of weeks, we're running short of time, so I'll run through a couple of great comments in here. So Jazz, he said, Wakeham shows our issues of the halves. Different team with him given just a touch. Sorry, we're a different team when given just a touch of structure. Forwards can hit the holes and backs are damaging off the ruck. I think that's
fair comment. Yep,
I agree with that one. John, we have some talent, but we are rudderless. Neither Brooks nor Dewey can control a team. Our kicking game is abysmal. Neither can read a game. Both play hard, but it's not enough. From Dale, Wakeham comes in the 51st minute, takes 10 minutes to settle in the game. That is heavily involved in 3 tries back to back. A lot of Wakeham love in the comments. I won't go through every one of them. There's so much, but no fluke tries. Sorry, Robert, just finished.
Right.
No fluke tries, clean line breaks. That's 10 minutes to settle and realise his potential, not 10 years.
I'll just pose a question to the listeners, and it obviously is rhetorical. I don't want it answered now. Who's meant to control the team? Like, if Brooks is 7 and Dwayne's 6, whose job is it to control the team? That's all I'd say to them. Okay, because both those players that I've mentioned look great playing outside Wakeham. We haven't had a halfback, guys, for 2 games and 51 minutes. That's just how it is. So Dewey's not going to look good. Dewey's tried to overplay his hand, and Brooks hasn't been good for 3 games until Wakeham came on. So I just think it's pretty harsh. Like I said, I am a Dewey fan, but I think it's pretty harsh throwing him in that basket where Dewey has to control the game. That's what the halfback's job is to do. And Dewey's meant to run off that and go off that. So, yeah, I think we'll be better with Wakeham there.
One person who's been on the Wakeham, and we kind of brushed it off a bit, but do you know who was on Wakeham as soon as we signed him from round 1 this year? Who kept telling us that we're going to get Brandon Wakeham out there? Shane.
Probably Shane.
Yeah, Shane loved Wakeham from the start. He said, got to get Wakeham out there. So
Yeah.
Big fella might have been onto something. Rachel mentioned, I saw someone else mention this. Joffa gave the halves a serve on the field. I missed this. Did that show up on the broadcast? Did anyone see that?
It did, and I feel like someone else gave them a serve as well. I just can't think of who it was, but I haven't rewatched the game. Otherwise, I'd know that. But yeah, I just can't even put myself through watching, the game again. Like I just don't want to do it.
Mitch said Appy was the other person.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay. It was someone. I remember seeing it.
So good doing these live shows. You guys fill in the blanks. You fill in the blanks for us. Other good comments. Joey Baysari. I think I said that correctly. Yeah. We have just been shown what has to happen to make this team competitive. 8 is not a 5'8". I love him, but I would love him to play 13, mirroring exactly what Yo and Murray do. As could AD play? I mean, we were talking about his defense earlier. I don't think that might rule out him playing 13.
Yeah, I don't think he's a 13. He's going to be either a fullback or centre this week, and I have a feeling it's going to be fullback. I'd probably prefer him at centre. But yeah, he definitely doesn't have the defence to be a lock. He misses so many tackles in the halves, and he gets isolated, and I think that would be even worse if he was at lock.
Another one mentioning you and AD, Rob. Rich said, although Rob loves AD, he's become a liability. His defense is atrocious. Attack is rubbish. He's been absolutely horrible. You guys are quick to bag Brooks, but AD's been our worst all year by far. Time to shift
rubbish.
To center.
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Yeah, his defense has been terrible. I'll give you that. But if you go back, like I said, to round one, his kicking game was spot on. He scored a solo try from 25 metres out. He set Dane Laurie up with a try assist for a try. So he hasn't been rubbish all year. He's had two really shit games, round 2 and round 3, and he had a blinder in round 1. Go back and tell me what Luke Brooks did in round 1. Drop a ball cold with a 3-on-2. Failed to scoop a ball up when it was going to be an 85-metre runaway try. Couldn't set his players up to save his life. Couldn't create space. Missed tackles. Poor kicking game. But Luke Brooks is the one that's been great, better than Dwayne all year. Unbelievable, man. They've both been shit, but Dwayne had one really bloody good game. Best player on the field. Luke Brooks has been shit for 3 games and minus 4 minutes.
Smiling Sane, I think he's watching the show right now. Patreon as well. Good comment from him. No excuse to be behind 26-6, but it was so exciting for that few minutes to feel some sort of hope. We need Wakeham in there starting from now on. Extra points to Bateman for that kick. If the bounce wasn't racist, that would have been amazing. I guess I guess it'd be xenophobic technically, but yeah, we'll blame the ball. The ball didn't like his super white skin. It was the only thing on the field as white as the ball was Bateman's skin. If rugby league was a JM, if rugby league was a 100-minute game, we might be 2-1. I thought that was not far off it. And
we 9 minutes. I don't know.
And lastly, Darcy, generally don't feel too bad about it. Wanted to see Bateman play well. He did. Wanted to see, unfortunately, I think it spells. Generally don't feel too bad about it. Wanted to see Bateman play well. He did. Wanted to see Brooksy run and break the line, and he did. So a few positive comments in there. As well, right onto our Patreon questions to finish. Shouts to all the Patreon guys. Patreon.com/WestsLife if you want to support the show. Shouts to our 2 new people this week, Josh Hendricks and Dirt McGirt. I assume that his real name's not Dirt, but shouts to those guys who joined us over the weekend. And someone posted it. Shouts to Ben, that Irish girl sunbathing meme I talked about earlier. He's already straight onto it. He's posted it.
I did see that, yeah.
In the Discord. Nice one. Benny.
Classic banter.
Speaking of banter, there's so much in the rant channel. CJ Tiger getting super early, but does the first 3 weeks and the performance of our halves make the $1.25 million for Moses cheap? I feel like with a decent 7 in the team, we're 2-1 now at least. Who wants to go first on that one?
I'm not fast. So I probably agree with that, but I'd also say now I think we desperately need a fullback as well. So we've got the hooker at least for another year and a half. But yeah, we need. I don't know. I really don't know. I just was hoping that we'd have an answer with one of these boys. I still got faith the way he can come good, but like he had a shocker yesterday. But I got no hope for Brooks being a 7.
As
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, if we get Moses, then that's a huge upgrade from any of the halves we've got now. Even Moses and Wakeham could be a revolutionary halves pairing. Don't know where that would leave Brooks. Probably left right out. But yeah, there's not too much more to say on that one. Moses is an upgrade from pretty much anyone at the club currently.
Joey Lulash, long term, what do you guys think is Dewey his best position? I don't know. We're going to try the fullback thing out, I guess, again next weekend. I feel like he's too good to play centre in attack, but I don't know. I feel like he's had a couple of shockers, but I still think he's got to have the ball in his hand more than a centre. But I don't think he's a fullback either. So
strip it down a little bit. He's had his 2 worst games in a row. He's got to strip it down. We saw enough from him late last year. We saw enough from him in the year before that he can be a really good 5'8". I think the one thing, believe it or not, he's got to work on out of all that is his defence. Because if he could defend, we'd play him at 13. If he could defend, he's definitely a 6. If he could defend, he can be a centre. If he can't defend, he's not going to be any of those positions. You know, yesterday, I mean, Burton's going to get past most blokes there anyway, but that was a pretty poor attempt. He barely got a hand on him as well. So Adam's got to work on his defence. I really think he's lost a lot of confidence. I think he knows how important it was to win those first couple of games. And coming in underdone yesterday was poor coaching. So he shouldn't have played. But yeah, I am defending him, and I'm not ashamed of that. I love him.
Carla asked, if Wakeham starts, do we beat the Storm next week? We'll obviously talk about the Storm game on our preview Wednesday night. But just quickly, do you think Wakeham can get us over Melbourne?
I mean, considerably the outs in the Storm team list, like they're not going to have a Sofa Solomona. Munster probably isn't going to be rushed back. Jerome Hughes will most likely be out as well. Still no Pappenhausen. I'm pretty sure they're missing 1 or 2 other of their main starting team. So, yeah, if Wakeham's named and he plays as well as he did in that 4-minute stint, the 4 minutes in the middle of his stint there, anything could happen, really.
Rob?
Oh, look, I think Wakeham needs to start, and Munster and Hughes need to be out. It's like we need 3 things for a win. Yeah. I'll take it. I've just guys. I mean, you know, there's lots of things we need to improve on. If that right edge defense doesn't improve, we're going to have some issues. But like Aaron said earlier, I think our setup this week is going to be Adam at fullback. It doesn't matter whose number you put 6 and 7 on. It's going to be Wakeham and Brooks in the halves, and it looks like Bateman's going to play lock, and probably Isaiah to the right edge. And I don't know. Are we going to start with Kapara on the left edge or Sean Bloor? I'm really not sure, but I think Bateman at 13 is going to be really, really helpful for whoever plays halfback.
Just looking at, we're just doing Rob Shadamas an episode early, but $3.25 against Melbourne. Parramatta at $3.25 and Dolphins at $3.25. So you can get 34 to 1, and not including a bit of a boost for those 3 teams to win Thursday, Friday. Right. So
we might have a golden point game, I think, this week, Josh, with our mob.
Oh, early.
It'll take something like that potentially to get our first win on the board.
Yeah,
I'll take it. I don't give a shit. Just win. Finally, last question, Gussie. I love that Gussie's stuck in a fun one. What did you guys eat for lunch on game day? I had to think about it when I read it before. I had Frangos at Concord. I had in the morning because I wasn't going to the game. It was super hot. The wife and son and I, we went to Cabaret to Pools, and on the way back we stopped Majors Bay Road at Frangos. I had a chicken wrap and some chips with garlic sauce. So that was my game day lunch. What about you boys?
I'll need a podcast to give you my one. I had friends over, so
Lebanese feed. Go through.
We got some peeled prawns, and we got some oysters, natural and Kilpatrick. Then had a barbecue, cooked some lamb, some meat, some chicken.
That was the entree.
Fruit platter. But we just ate. We were still eating during the game, and we had lunch at 1 o'clock. So yeah, it was a bit of a pig out. But lost my appetite by full time.
And in quite the opposite, I didn't have lunch at all.
Oh, you're fasting or something?
No, other issues there.
Okay, fair enough. But thanks for that fun one, guys. You can throw fun questions. We don't want to. Actually, speaking of fun, GD Tiger asked if you're still friends. In the comments.
Oh, yeah, we're friends.
Yeah, opinions. It's just football. At the end of the day, it's football. We're not talking.
You should out
we're not talking Ukraine or anything here. It's just.
It's all good. And like I said at the start of the show, I'm in a really fucking shitty mood. So yeah, I almost pulled a pin on even appearing tonight because I thought I was going to do something stupid, but I've lasted an hour or so.
It is. It's just about to hit the 80-minute mark. We've done 80 minutes. Look, we weren't in 38-degree heat. We weren't wearing black jerseys, but yeah,
black polos instead.
Yeah, black. I'm wearing my Premier's t-shirt. I'm keeping the faith. But we'll get another one soon. So, next show. Shouts out there. Look how many Patreon legends we have now. So shouts out to the lot of yous. Love yous all. It's at the point now where I miss so much now because it's firing up 24/7 now. It's awesome. Love you guys. Next show Wednesday night playing. I've put Bulldogs preview. Playing the Bulldogs again. I got this. This is what happens when I do.
Can we start with Brandon Bulldogs?
We're playing the Storm
rematch.
Well, maybe the Storm might be worse.
Okay.
We're playing the Melbourne Storm. We'll preview that game on Wednesday at 8:30 on YouTube and Facebook. Shouts to literally, I could say, hundreds of you that watched us live tonight. And for those of you listening in the following days, wherever you are, like I said at the start of the show, please share with your mates that, people in the comments were saying before, this team is hard to watch, but they like the therapy that we put you through. So, and we love you contributing to the show as well. We're building up a nice little community here, and we suffer together. So, boys, any parting words before we hit the off to Nina?
Just a bit of trivia I shared with the guys earlier. Got some very good mail that not to do with us, obviously, but Ryan Pappenhausen won't be back for at least 2 months, 8 weeks. So we don't have to worry. I'm not sure when we play them the second time round, but
I bet he comes back for the second time we play.
He probably would, but he's got some issues, so he's at least a couple of months away. But
yeah, right.
There might be some super coaches out there that want to throw him in a team later. It ain't happening. He's out for ages.
And anything else?
I'm just looking forward to seeing all 4 of our big name signings being named in the same team tomorrow, plus Charlie. So it will hopefully be one of our best team lists of the season, and looking forward to having a chat about it on Wednesday night.
Yeah, everyone pretty much will be available, won't they?
We're winning. We're winning Saturday in Golden Point. That's happening.
Friday.
We're winning in
Friday this week. Don't miss
it. 5-day turnaround from the heat.
I'll have to find something to do at 6 o'clock and watch it live. I can't do it.
I hate to see.
I'm done.
Well, Rob's got to go to bed, everyone. Good night, big dog. Good night, boys and girls. Good night, Rob. Good night, guys.
Good night,
as
Jason.
always, guys.
Good night, Jason. You keep
love you guys.
Got to send them out.
As always, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.